Hello everyone, and today we're going to see yet another game in the Advanced Gambit series. And this time we're going to first see the first ever game that was played in Advanced Gambit, and it was played by none other than Captain William Davies Evans. So he's a captain, yes. He was playing this game against one of his fellow sailor and during sea expedition, and yeah, it was a very nice game. He invented the opening himself when he was traveling for many months during his expedition in the ocean. So let's look at the game. We'll be watching the game which created the novelty of Heaven's Gambit, and it allowed the later generations to imply this novelty, or you can say this new line or new gambit line against many other players. So now, of course, let's recap some of our events gambit things from the last video. So events gambit, of course, starts with move e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop to c4, and bishop to b5, and where we play the move b4 here in order to dislodge this bishop from controlling the very important d4 square in the center. Not only that, it also takes away very vital tempos from black by making its bishop move again and again. So that is the reason why it is really a good gambit, and one must try it out as soon as possible. And I am very sure they'll enjoy it thoroughly if they know how to play exactly against Black's setup, what Black plays. And it's a very romantic opening. You have to be very, very aggressive, and you have to just care less about small material losses like pawns on the board, and you have to focus on fast development. So, how do we do that? Of course, after black takes, we first develop the center. Was the first rule. So c3, and here black plays the move c5. But if black goes to a5, which is the best move, d4 must be played, taking the center. And as we take the center, and after black captures on d4, we castles immediately. That's the main idea. We developed at speed of light. We take the center, we sacrifice the pawn, take the center, and castle the king as fast as possible, so that we can start an attack immediately against black's structure or black's setup. So in the game, the first ever game of Evans Gambit, bishop to c5 was played, and it is a pretty bad move. If I say you can say it's almost an inaccuracy or a mistake to play bishop to c5 because it directly goes into our plan of d4. It yet another black piece will lose a tempo again, which is a very bad move the moment d5 is played. But we should not play d5 immediately here, because if we play d5 here, uh, even though it is fine for black, it, like it's a check. It's fine for white, but then here blocking this check is annoying. Dealing with it, the best move suggested by the computer is king to f1, but we are not computers, so it's a very strange move suggested by the computer. We don't want to play like that. So, what you should do in such a situation is just simple. As we said, develop at the speed of light, so just castles. Now we are ready for the move d4 again, as there is no checks after ed4 and cd4. So now black develops the knight, and we lash out at the center with the move d4. E takes d4, c takes d4, and bishop goes back. And immediately we go for the attack. We have a very strong center, and we must utilize it as black doesn't have any, and we push the pawn to e5. This is a very, very nice attack. We're getting attacked so easily and so simply. Here, moving the knight is dangerous for black. Like, where can black move the knight? Moving the knight to e4 is bad because then queen to e2 will be played, and this knight is in a dire straits. You cannot save this knight at any cost because even if you play this move, we have en passant taking the pawn, and this knight is in a very bad situation as also the king is being behind it. So, and the structure is opening up as now you cannot capture this pawn that easily as you have to guard the knight. So, not a very good placement for the knight, being under directly under fire of white's pieces. Knight to g5 still not good enough as we just have this move h3. After knight moves, only move, we just take the knight with the bishop, damaging the pawn structure of black and also opening up the king in process, making it very hard for black to get its king to any kind of safety. So these are all out of questions, and of course, here going back to the main square, the original square where the knight came from, doesn't make any sense. We just developed the knight and we then again got it back to g8, which is very bad. Black is losing a lot of tempo just by bringing the pieces back and forth. So the best move for black here is danger, following the danger levels, and the danger level says if your piece is attacked, then it, there is two things: either move it from that place, or you attack your opponent's another piece, which is of either same level of what piece is attacked of yours, or of a higher value than that piece. So that is danger levels. And so here the best move for the black is d5, attacking the bishop and getting some play in the center of the board. So what should we do? Should we save the bishop? This bishop is strong. The c4 bishop is a very strong bishop. But we can afford to give up the bishop in this situation because we do not preserve the bishop. We are not going into end game. End games is where the bishops are best. But we are not doing any end game. We are trying to directly straight forward, go for the blood, go for the attack. And even for our attack to be successful, we require the lines to open up. So what should we do here? Just take the knight. And black is forced to take the bishop as well. And we can see what has happened here. We have opened up the lines against the black's king. So what should we do? Just utilize it. Rook to e1, very straightforward and simple attack. King cannot go only two moves. Either king goes to d7 or f8, and anything like bishop to e6 covering the king is bad, as we can just fork. And yeah, there is nothing much one can do about it, as it's a very bad situation for black. So king to d7 is actually very bad, as we just push the pawn, and after knight moves, we just get the rook here and check the king. And after king moves anywhere, we just brutalize the king here. The king will be attacked brutally in the center of the board. Not a very good situation for black. So this is out of question. So you cannot play in this way. The king has to be safe. So the king will go inside in this situation. And now the typical Evans Gambit move, bishop to a3, attacking the king, and again the king goes inside further into its territory. It's almost like it has castled, but the rook is being blocked by the king. The rook has forgot to come to the other side. It's a very funny situation for black to castle in that way. Rook forgot to come to the other side. The king just went to g8 in two moves. The rook is saying to the king, "Hey, bro, let me some space. I want to go out." And the king is like, "Hey, wait, man, I am in huge trouble. I'm getting attacked left and right. You cannot do anything about it. The black situation is very bad. White has very great attack. Here, we yet are not let black give any concession to black. We yet attack black relentlessly. You just push the pawn forward. Black has to move piece somewhere, and then we go to e7 with the bishop attacking the queen. Queen comes forward to d7, and then now we take the pawn, attacking rook, threatening it. King has to take, and now we just play a very silent move, queen to d2. Queen to d2 idea is very simple. It is just to go to g5, and if it approaches g5, the game is almost over because king cannot go anywhere. King has no squares to go. Bishop is covering so many squares, escape squares, and the queen will cover the rest of the escape squares. So here, black played queen to queen to g4, covering this up. But now black forgot to cover yet another dangerous square that the queen can go to, apart from d2, which is queen to c3, yet attacking this king again. Here, king goes back, and now comes the move of the day, and where white sacrificed the queen, and after, of course, king takes queen is forced. There is no other choice. King takes on h8. After that, bishop to f6 check, and there is nothing you can do about it. And after queen blocks, doesn't matter if queen blocks or king moves, rook to e8 checkmate. So this was a fantastic game, first ever game played by the Evans Gambit line by Captain William David Evans during his expedition to the sea. A very long time it took for him to develop this opening, but when he did lay it on the board practically, it was awesome. It was completely worth it to develop such a legendary opening gambit. Uh, and so that is it for today. We saw a very nice game, and why we understood we should not play the move bishop to c5 back uh, after you have got the bishop to d4. Bishop to a4. Here, bishop in the game. After this, bishop to only two moves are great after c3, bishop to a5, or bishop to e7. Rest, every other move is bad. So you have to remember that, and now you understood how to take advantage of bishop to c5, immediately taking tempo over black's vulnerable bishop. But before that, you must castle the king so that there is no counter play for black whatsoever. So castling is the most important thing. So this is the discussion further into the advanced gambit. So we'll see more videos later in the series. So that is it for today, and bye bye.